Welcome back to the Mr. Gloat podcast. Today, we are taking a look at everything outside of the sport of boxing. And we're going to start out with what is going on in the world of UFC as we speak. We're going to get to other sports from bare knuckle boxing in just a moment and other sports as we speak. Today, UFC has already been on the success train ever since with everything going on, with everything into the world. With everything going on right now and everything being nothing hard with everyone else here, as we've already covered up all of the bases for the world of boxing. But with all that being said, we've already formed out every single story going on here. So with everything going on, and ever since the history of all sports, we all have to understand one thing about UFC. Considering the death of Bellator became the death last year ago in January 2025, even with PFL buying with the group at the time, and even though PFL League, known as the Professional Fighters League, which has been in for 9 years right now, and it's coming almost to their 10th year as we speak, with formations of other events going on, we have been on the high and low as we speak. But with all events and champions, it seems like that nothing has been changing since. We do have interesting amount of new championship fighters here in the division. We do have a Russian fighter named Vadim Nemkov, Corey Anderson, who is actually from Illinois, a man that doesn't have a good record with only 6 pro defeats and not good defeats at all, but still in the light heavyweight champion, a Spanish fighter named Van Steynes, who's 33 years old with only a few professional defeats in his career, all by decision. We have another Russian lightweight fighter who still has a record of 21 victories, 1 no contest, but no defeats in his career since he's been fighting since 2017. We might see another undefeated MMA fighter here. Who knows? As for the women's sports, well, Chris Cyborg, who is the featherweight champion since December the 13th, 2025, and I have talked about her as a professional boxer, is still on the top down low of her career. Considering with her entire career going on here, Chris Cyborg has been doing a pretty good job in her career. Coming back, winning another title last year ago from a comeback. But her entire professional boxing career has been starting off strong into her run. Because she did win back to pro boxing last March to win the WIBA Super Welterweight Championship against a longtime journeyman fighter. And she is ranked in the Super Welterweight as we speak, so she has been doing a decent good job. But unfortunately, all these titles have not been changed ever since, which is a problem. Because when looking at this, all of these fighters that we are talking about that are champions have never lost their title. And the only title change that has happened as of this year was last May when Russian fighter Ramazan, the welterweight champion, who is undefeated, had announced his retirement on February the 7th, 2026, where his title was officially vacated on May the 13th, 2026. For reasons why he actually announced his retirement on May is an interesting one here. We're going to have to find the information here. If we can find out about this. Let's find out information here on the Survivor's Guide here. We're on CagesidePress.com stating PFL Road to Dubai. Ramazan survives illegal knee. Beats Shamil Musav for gold. Retires. The reports are on the Raiders here. In the first of the night's co-main event for the vacant welterweight title on the line, Ramazan and Shamil were on to the fight where Ramazan was the final Bellator MMA welterweight champion, and this distinction he earned after the PFL had purchased the rival with rival promotion of Bellator. Yeah, we have know that. But with after the tournaments of PFL tournaments in 2024, but missed all of 2025 when after Masev, the opponent he lost against, missed everything for the entire year. Both men hailed from Russia and were both undefeated at the time in Dubai, with a clearly setting to change. Surprisingly, our star hero at the time managed to strike out a perfect win in the first minute, leading to grappling exchange, winning the fight by a landslide on points. So technically, with all that being said, that's a little bit surprising to talk about, but technically, with all the information here, the fight went on with Ramazan winning the fight by unanimous decision, with all three judges scoring at 48 to 46. So I wouldn't say landslide on points, but he might have had the win before the final round just for the heck of it. In other news, we also have other professional fights going on into the world for surprising reasons. We heard on July the 18th, we have a show titled KSW 120 in Poland, where we have Artur Szpilka, who's known for getting his head chopped off by Deontay Wilder back in January 2016 with the WBC title and had his retirement there, is back in action with another heavyweight bout against an opponent named Sakai. This fight will take place on July the 18th. We're 13 days away from it, which is, I'm going to assume, is a MMA fight. Don't know much about what KSW is, but consider this show has taken place on July the 18th. I wish the man good luck and no one gets hurt. We also have another fight going on where on July the 11th, UFC 329 live in Las Vegas, Nevada, Conor McGregor versus his rival opponent, Holloway, will fight out with the International Fight Week to assume who the greatest fighter is of all time. So we have other fights about that going on as we speak. As for Ramazan, I wish him best of luck for his future, and whatever he does, that's up to him. As for other reports for everything else about UFC, I can't find much information about that as much yet, about everything else, or about what happened last month ago, but it's better to just stay away from it. And other reports going on with the world and everything going on, the bare knuckle boxing world has been on the high alert for so long that we now have new performances going on here. The bare knuckle fighting champion has already staged more fighting tournaments going on. On July the 18th, they have BKFC 91 taken on in Italy, which will be an interesting fight for them to fight there. We don't know when the first time they ever fight in Italy, but we assume it was sooner than they did. Their first ever show was back in BKFC 83 in Italy, back in October the 25th, 2025, in Rome, Italy. This time they're back, this time in a place called Naples, Italy. With all that being said, we wish the fighters best of luck and hope everyone makes it back home soon, and we'll see what happens when that time comes. But the real story is just beginning. With all this being said, bare knuckle boxing is still surprisingly controversial for what it is. But again, it's better to just keep it to ourselves as best we could. But with all this being said, we still have some interesting bare knuckle champions from everyone else, from the BKB, who is still holding on a lot of championship boxers here. And again, with a lot of British opponents. We also have BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Boxing, where we still have Gustavo Trujillo, who is still the heavyweight champion, with LT Nelson, who is actually still the super middleweight and middleweight champion. Helen Peralta, who hasn't been on her best behavior in her career for a bare knuckle fighter, or even as a martial artist, because she has a 6-5 record. Well, we don't know much about her run other than her last defeat was last year ago, so we don't know why she's still involved on Wikipedia here as a super lightweight champion. Sounds like someone forgot, or Wikipedia does not want to pay attention to these new champions, or no one wants to put updates on these fighters, but we don't know. We still have these other moments from bare knuckle champions, from Mick Terrell, Alicio Sakara, the cruiserweight fighter, David Mundell, the middleweight champion, Austin Trout in the welterweight, many other interesting fighters. Christine Ferreira in the coming out of the United States here has already been on hard disbelief of her career as an MMA fighter in 2017 and as a bare knuckle fighter since her first pro defeat was against Helen Peralta in 2019. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of these women and other fighters, there's just not a lot of title changes going on here as we speak. But again, it is going to be tough for me to even find out if there's any other champions in this division because there's so much of these bare knuckle divisions going on, such as the Gromda Fight Club, which that's actually a Polish bare knuckle promotion. Top Dog Fighting Champion, which is actually established from Russia. We also have another Russian boxing tournament titled the Hardcore FC Fighting Championship, which is also from Russia. We also have the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship of UK, Asia, and everything else. But again, I really can't point all this out. There is a lot of other bare knuckle boxers in history going past its time as legit, but I do see a lot of I don't know. I do see a lot of opportunities that something is gonna come our way here, but I really can't find out any other information in the bare knuckle world yet. But we do have ideas that something is going on behind the scenes, but again, I just can't find no information about that as we speak. So let's look up the Major League Baseball season of 2026. So let's talk about the American League when it comes to Major League Baseball. The American League has the Chicago White Sox, who are in a record of 46 wins and 42 losses in their career, but they are still ranked barely at the number one spot with their runs at their percentages of .523. The Cleveland Indians have 47 wins and 43 defeats in their career, and their percentage is a .522. So that right there goes to show you how tough the competition is for Central American League when it comes to those two ball players. The Tampa Bay, well, here's the thing. Even though the Boston Red Sox have been faltering so hard in their career, they are doing better than Kansas City, better than the Los Angeles Angels, for crying out loud. People think that the New York Yankees might not have a good opportunity to have any problem against the Red Sox this year. Guess what? Tampa Bay are ranked number one in the American League. They have 52 wins, 34 pro defeats, while New York Yankees have 49 and 40 on their back. And also the Toronto Blue Jays and Baltimore, whatever their team name is again, never mind. All I can say is Toronto is 42 and 49, Baltimore is 42 and 40. Toronto is 47 losses and Baltimore is 49. They all have 42 wins. Red Sox have 39 and 48. That's all that matters. Anyway, the Seattle, what are their team name again? Mariners. Sheesh. Unbelievable. Anyway, so the Seattle Mariners have 46 wins, 44 defeats in their career. Texas has 45 and 44, while Houston has 44 and 47 with the Athletics. Not doing good. Same with the Angels. As said before, Detroit also has a 39 and 50 in their record right now. They are a little bit terrible than the Red Sox this year, even though they played more games right now this year. Again, Minnesota, they're around 44 and 47, so they have to win some matches. They have to do something to get back on the game. They just have to. The National League has been pointed out new ideas. Let's talk about the Central League for the National League of the NL Nationals. So Milwaukee has a record of 54 and 33, while the Chicago Cubs has a 50 and 40 on their resume. St. Louis Cardinals, 47 to 40, not good for them, even though better than Pittsburgh, even though they're 46 and 45, and Cincinnati's 41 to 48. Talking about the East, let's talk about the East Coast of the National League, where Atlanta has 52 and 36. With Philadelphia at 50 to 40 and Miami at 48 to 42, with Washington at 46 to 45 and the New York Mets are at 37 to 53, the LA Dodgers have an amazing record of 59 wins and 31 defeats in their career as we speak. And that's just 90 matches they played. That's only 90 ball games they've already played this year, which is kind of crazy. And with only 162 games, there's only 74 more games left in the season for them. So this might be a chance that LA might take a huge lead. And they have a big lead already, like Arizona in the Western League with the NL team, because LA are in the West. The Dodgers are winning by 15 games, with Arizona being number 2 in the West with 44 and 44. San Diego, 43 and 45. San Francisco, 37 to 51. And 36 to 54 for Colorado. And that's ridiculous. Like, Milwaukee with a 6.21 percentage on winning and a 6.56 for the LA Dodgers. Tampa Bay only has a 6.05, and they're the best in the American League. So, I don't know. And as for the wild card slots, the wild card slots are showing the Chicago White Sox, Seattle, and Tampa Bay as AL leaders, and wild card slots for the Yankees, Cleveland, and Texas are on that spot, just barely. While for the NL leaders, which is LA, Atlanta, and Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia are holding their grasp pretty well at 50 games. While St. Louis only has 87 games they played this year, and they are on the cut line. Miami has 48 and 42, but they're only a 0.07 percentage on the winnings under the cut line for the wild card slot for NL. So, I don't know. As for the Boston Red Sox, the Angels, Kansas City, Detroit, Colorado, not the best team. The Mets, San Francisco. Those teams are just... I just don't know what's wrong with those teams right now. We don't know why. I haven't been following up on anything going on in the sport lately. But again, I really can't say much about anything going on because there's a lot of crazy things going on as we speak. And speaking about professional baseball, people think that the Red Sox have nothing left in them. We're having reports that several months ago we heard people saying, sell out the team, sell the team, or this or that. I think like fans and people online today are now just want to trash talk players and teams that are just not good anymore. So a few days ago, just around the time, the Boston Red Sox, where the MLB dropped the hammer, where Boston's Wilson Contreras, with lefty suspension after helmet throwing incident, which led to Washington and the Red Sox having a huge brawl at the time during a fight in Fenway Park just a few days ago, where the benches were clearing out the brawl with the Nationals and the Red Sox having a huge suspension in Fenway Park. Multiple baseball players have been suspended for the night and probably be suspended for other players, but we don't got reports on how many days these players have been suspended, but we do assume that some of these players might be suspended for a week or maybe for a few games. That's just my opinion. Again, we don't know much about that yet, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens as time goes on. Anyway, in other news going on for the league, everything going on, with everything going on from the NFL just starting out, the NHL already did their entire series where Carolina defeated Vegas in a Game 6 match to become the Stanley Cup champions, considering after all that being happened. But I never pay attention to these sports as much because it's just a team sport. It just takes a long time to wait. As for NBA basketball and everything else going on since that career ended with the New York, wow, the New York won. Wait, you're talking about the New York? Wow, the New York Knicks actually became champions this year? Wow, I didn't know that. Just goes to show you there's a lot of sports out there that I haven't been paying attention to. Damn, that's crazy. So, yeah, nothing could be said about anything else here, but yeah, I just feel like I just did everything else. So we did basketball. We just passed the NFL thing, baseball, hockey. And forget about soccer. Yeah, I'm trying to find out what other information we have here. We're only 20 minutes into this episode, so I'm trying to find some other ideas to record. I want to keep the blood going here, just slowly, but I don't know. There might be other things going on behind the scenes here, but technically, I think I just ran out of ideas going on as we speak, but still. Going to have to wait for other updates going on, and considering I already took a break, a 20-minute break after my last episode, I do have a feeling that there might be other stuff going on. You know what? Let's get on to other boxing information here and find out what we missed out. Oh, wow, Deontay Wilder already put out a new statement here. What do we have here on BoxingScene.com? I might as well talk about this boxing show. Deontay Wilder would welcome fight with Usyk. Crazy. Deontay Wilder at the media event ahead of his fight with Derek Chisora in New York on February the 2nd, 2026. Okay, that's interesting. When this came out? Yep, July the 4th. Okay, so this came out yesterday. Okay, so what did Deontay Wilder have to say about this? Deontay Wilder will accept the fight with Usyk if the team are fair. The Americans' co-manager Shelly Finkel has confirmed Usyk, who recently announced he was relinquishing the WBC, WBA, IBF heavyweight titles to focus on one less dance, has been in discussions with Zuffa Boxing about the possibility of staging his farewell content. The 40-year-old Wilder, a former WBC champion, is ranked 7th by the sanctioning bodies after his April victory against Derek Chisora. However, the WBC had previously ruled that Usyk, following his May victory over kickboxer Rico Verhoeven, must face then interim titleist Ajit Cabello if he was to keep his belt. Ultimately, the decision was made by the Ukrainian to give up all titles to give him autonomy on what followed. End quote. Usyk 25-0 with 16 knockouts, and Wilder with 45-1, 43 knockouts, had previously entered negotiations about a potential contest in December, with Usyk negotiating the Bronze Bomber as the lone elite heavyweight of his era he was yet to face. Shelly Finkel also told Sky Sports, quote, "If the terms were right, Deontay would welcome the chance to fight Usyk. Usyk is a great champion, and it would be an honor to fight him." I think Deontay Wilder said that. I don't know. That's what it says in boxing scene. Like Usyk is a great champion, and it would be an honor to fight him. That's what it says right there. I don't know why. I don't know if that's what Deontay Wilder said or Shelly Finkel said, but that's again. It's we just read that in the middle of all that, so who knows. Anyway, this is the last paragraph. The last paragraph says here, quote, though Wilder remains the 39-year-old Ukrainian's opponent of choice, Zuffa Boxing is understood to be one of several promotional outfits under consideration to host his 26th and presumably last pro fight. End quote. And after reading all that, I had to go into the comments. And the comments stated here by a person named Rec Racer posted 6 hours ago, quote, Usyk, do you want this money? Wilder, yes. You want, I guess he says yes. Yeah, I guess he says it. Good. The second comment came out. The second comment was published 18 hours ago by a guy named SideFX996. Quote, only thing Wilder would welcome is the paycheck. 8 kids and 8 baby mamas, spends fast. That right there does say a lot. Because if Wilder is not caring about the fight other than the money, imagine how terrible this fight is going to be. So here's the thing. You're telling me that Usyk in December was going to fight Wilder. And then Wilder's team threw it away because they wanted him to fight against Chisora. Nothing happened. And then after the fight, and then 1 month before the Verhoeven fight, he said he has now 3 fights left. Usyk said. Even though in reality, he said after he defeated Dubois, he had 2 fights left. What's the point? Now he changes his mind to say now he had 3 fights left. And then after he beats Verhoeven, which is 1, he's going to take on the winner for Fabio Wardley and Dubois, one of the winners. Well, guess what? Dubois defeated Wardley, so what's the point of having a third fight for Dubois? So scratch that. And then his third fight was Greedy Belly Fury. There's a lot of red flags there. And now we're in the month of July where Usyk is now changing his reports saying that now he has 1 fight left. At that moment, after what happened in Giza, I just think that's the end of his career. If he barely defeated a kickboxer, then Usyk should already realize that he was in a tough situation from the start. Seriously. But I'm not going to argue about that. No. There's going to be a lot of opportunities that something will happen here. But again, we're going to have to wait for updates on what's going to happen. By the way, here's something interesting 2 days ago where Anthony Joshua on the lessons he's learned from Alexander Usyk. This one's an interesting story to talk about. Let's read this one up. How many paragraphs do we have here? Oh, wow. Oh, boy, we have a lot to read here. Well, I might as well read it. Joshua plans to start the fight against Crit. Yep, we got that. Yep, 36-year-old undisputed champ. Yep, got that. Yep, year. Joshua 29-4 takes the Pranga in Saudi Arabia, and the victory there, which widely expected to appear easiest to achieve, and the former champion 3P plan, Albania Pranga, is not expecting to accomplish Joshua here in the sense of surviving a car crash in December, which, that was a tragic moment for Joshua. We hope he's okay. Tragedy comes newfound determination. That is true. Eddie Hearn claims not to have seen since his long-time charge started out on the sport. And then it says here that Joshua's ascent was rapid. Consecutive on ABA championship led Joshua to Team Great Britain, then to the Worlds of the Just Silver just 9 months after making the jump to international level. For the gold for the 2012 Olympic Games, his progress at professional level had to come quickly for the 2016 IBF champion of the belt holder, and the year following when he ended the career of Vladimir Klitschko in one of the division's greatest fighters. By then, Joshua was a worldwide household name, and the sponsorship deals coming out of his ears, he started business. His attention, now he admits, was being dragged away from the sport. And then we had Joshua told Hearn, quote, "We'll shut down all the businesses," Joshua told Hearn, who played the role of interviewer during a video released by DAZN on Friday. "The number one performing business is boxing. And that's where I want to put all my energy and focus. I want to reign the championship and be the world heavyweight champion once again. I'm a normal lad giving 100% while I can. I'm a fighter through and through, and I believe in myself." Joshua has been training with Usyk since last year. The same Usyk who twice beat Joshua, ending the Briton's time as world champion. And always studious to Joshua, has been watching his conqueror carefully, listening to advice, taking everything on board. He's identified 3 qualities that made the Ukrainian the best heavyweight of his era. Joshua said, "There's 3 elements that I've learned by being around Usyk. In sport, you have your physical, and people can improve that. With cardio, you have your mental, which you can improve as well. Physiologist, your own mind state. And one thing that separates you, which I'm seeing with Usyk, is your spiritual. Your spiritual. When you've got those 3 things aligned, you're a hard person to beat." And then he just rambles on going, "Physical and mental, I'm very solid. If I can improve my spiritual, I'll get to where I want to get to do. I still want to become undisputed. I can't be touched. I still have the ambition and hunger. I want it all. I look at the bigger picture." Joshua has a lot to prove. Oh yeah, he does. He has a lot to prove. And most of what he wants to prove to himself, that will breed pressure of sorts. It all starts with Pranga next month. Like that next 3 weeks. Yeah. Dang. The rest is... We'll just settle those last 5 paragraphs for some other time. I'm not going to get to them. I'm not going to get to it. I'm not going to get to those. I'm not. It's just a waste of time. But all in all, yeah. Technically, I can say to myself that we have an opportunity here. Like, again, this might be a good opportunity. Like, if Wilder... I don't think we're going to get a match here anytime soon. It is possible that because of the IBF, because now I gotta look up the rankings. Oh, you know what? We do have almost 6 minutes left of this episode until we pass the 40-minute mark, and I do want these episodes to be short because I'm getting built up to talk about the autumn weight champions and the undisputed, because there's not a lot of actioning going on in July, and I'm thinking of uploading more than 10 or so episodes or something like that to take breaks off. But you know what? Let's get to this first. So the month of July has given us this. Okay, so July the 1st. So Vardam Artarnian, who is a ranked number 5 in Russia, right now in the WBA in Russia, has been ranked number 5 in the division right now in boxing. So great for him. Unfortunately, Lanier Perot, who lost to Jarrell Miller, is out of the rankings. Nelson Haisa is now ranked number 6. Phil Pergovich, 7. Gurgen Havanzian, number 8. Daniel Peru, number 9. Artem Saslenkov, number 10. Yep. Afe Ajagba, number 11. And the other fighters, still there. July the 1st also had WBO rankings here. Joseph Parker is ranked number 5. Now he is now ranked number 5. He is back in the rankings for the rankings right now. He's number 5 in the WBO, surpassing Zhou Zhang at number 6. Bakadir Jalov went up to one spot at number 7. Deontay Wilder is down to number 8. Jared Anderson's down to number 9. Frank Sanchez is down to number 10. Again, that Ukrainian fighter, Victor, is down to number 11. Now, Heisa is down to number 12. Gustavo Trujillo, who is the bare knuckle champion, is up number 1 at number 13, surpassing Solomon Dakaris, who's at number 14. And Brandon Moore, well, he's still at number 15. Richard Rakpuri is out of the rankings as we speak. Oh, yeah, the IBF rankings. The IBF rankings are all the same. Nothing has been touched. Nothing. As for July the 3rd, 2 days ago, Ajit Caballero is still the champion. We speak. All from Tyson Fury, Okali, Tama, Hrgovic, Joshua, Sanchez, Wilder, Verhoeven, Ajagba, and Richard Rakpuri. From number 1 to number 10, nothing changed. Nothing. But another Ukrainian fighter named Andriy Novitsky, 16-0, went up one spot to number 11. Bakadir Jalolov is ranked up number 12. Gildo Vianello up number 13. Labinot is ranked up number 14. But Otto Wallin, he is back in the rankings for the WBC at number 15, kicking Martin Bakali out of the rankings, meaning that Martin Bakali is not ranked one bit in none of the categories right now. So that is heartbreaking. It is what it is. Oh, yeah, and that's right. I do believe we do have those other opportunities here. So considering Moses Atama has been on the ranking points a lot more, he's still number 1 from WBA to WBO and number 3 in the IBF and number 3 in the WBC, but I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of problems here that something might happen, but who knows. But by the way, speaking about who knows, guess what's been going on right now in the world of NASCAR? Well, ever since about several weeks ago, I did congratulate Corey Heim for winning a race in San Diego, where San Diego did a racetrack in Naval Base, Colorado. NASCAR Cup Series did a 75-lap race. Corey Heim surpassed driver Trevor Burt, Tyler Reddick, to win the race in the last few laps of the race. A week later in Sonoma, Shane Van Gisbergen wins his second race this year in a road course, just like after Watkins Glen in May. And now they have a race in Chicago today, which is at 6, so the race has already started as we're speaking. But the rankings itself has been tough, considering with all this stuff going behind the scenes. Here's what's been happening in the world. With Danny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick winning races back and forth, and Danny Hamlin is in first place in the point standings with 719, winning by 1 point behind Tyler Reddick, who is at 718. Ryan Blaney at number 3. Ty Gibbs, shockingly, I'm surprised that he's in the top 4 right now. Crazy. Kyle Larson, 5. Chase Elliott, 6. Chris Buescher, number 7, with 0 victories, like Kyle Larson, but surprisingly, they're in it. Thank God the playoffs are gone. Crazy. Carson Hocevar, number 8, with 1 victory. Daniel Suarez at number 9. Wait, did Daniel Suarez win what racetrack did he win? He won the Charlotte race. Wait, was this a 600 lap race he was winning in? The Charlotte Coca-Cola 600. Daniel Suarez won the race at completing 375 laps. What happened here? The race was shortened due to rainfall, and after 373 laps, Daniel Suarez won the race with only 27 laps to go. Okay, so the Coca-Cola 600 did happen, and wow, dang. Daniel Suarez. So it seemed like Daniel Suarez was not going to win the Coca-Cola 600, but yeah, they gave him the win. Crazy. Oh, yeah, and Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell. Like, oh boy, when's the last time we had about this? Oh boy, Christopher Bell. What's been happening with Bell? You know what's crazy? Christopher Bell has come so close to being in the championships by winning champions in the Cup Series, and him being a Truck Series champion, he could almost be this close by being the first NASCAR Cup Series champion to win. But here's the thing. 0 Truck Series championship drivers in the Truck Series that have become champions have never won a Cup Series race or a Cup Series champion in their life. And Christopher Bell has come so dang close. I just don't understand why. Crazy. And by the way, only 8 full-time NASCAR drivers out of 18 races this year have become winners in the race. Corey Heim is a part-time driver, so don't count him, but still, that's just ridiculous. Oh, and by the way, on July the 19th in North Wilkesboro, they're bringing the race back to North Wilkesboro for a Cup race. And, of course, the Indianapolis 500, or the Brickyard 400 on July the 26th. So, yeah, we're going to see some great races here. We have the race in Atlanta, which is going to be a great race there. So, another Atlanta race on July the 12th. Dang, sounds like this is going to be a great month for NASCAR in the Cup Series. Oh, yeah, by the way, the Xfinity Series is now called the O'Reilly Series. They just called it this year ago. What's been going on with the O'Reilly Series? Well, here's the thing. Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed. Wait, Sheldon Creed? Well, that'll be a son of a gun. After several long years, Sheldon Creed has finally won an Xfinity race. And that just took him until race number 2 in Atlanta last February. Man, Sheldon Creed finally won a race. And where is he at? Wait. Tell me Sheldon Creed is somewhere else in the ring. He is ranked number 4 in the points. Not better than Justin Allgaier, who's winning by 195 points. Jeez. Wow. That's a tight lead. So it seems like Sheldon Creed is not going to become I don't know. Are people going to hire? Here's the thing. If Sheldon Creed does become an Xfinity champion, is he going to be not in the Cup Series, or is he going to be stuck downhill, just like what's happening to Grant? Driver Grant. Like, I'm sure some people know who that driver is. The driver that's had problem just running full time, and he was actually the ARCA champion, but he's been slowing out so much every single year. Like, what's his name? Grant Enfinger, who's been in the Truck Series for so long, and he's now past his prime, so he's not going to be in the Cup Series. Crazy. Like, I wonder what's going on with that, actually. It seems crazy. So with only 25 Truck Series races going on here, a bunch of races have been going on. Bell's winning races. Hocevar, a guy named Wayne Riggs is winning races. Corey Heim is winning races. And said Kyle Busch did win races in Atlanta in February and a race in Dover before his passing, unfortunately. So, and not only that, they also have other races in Lime Rock and in North Wilkesboro. So all I can say about that is we are just going to have to wait and see when that time comes. As for the IndyCar Series has been on the change with Alex Palou still having a surprising season in his career, going for broke for a multitude of champions. With Scott Dixon not in his prime anymore, the Spanish driver from Spain, Alex Palou, is in the dominance. With 10 races in the season going on right now, we don't know what's going to go on with the races, as Mid-Ohio is already having a race, with a bunch of races happening on road races and not ovals anymore. It just seems like the sport has been changing terribly for the better of it. As for F1 series, with everything going on with Lando Norris being the world champion at the time, Yuki Tsunoda is not a driver in racing anymore. But with Lewis Hamilton, who is actually the winner in June the 14th, last month ago, with George Russell winning June the 18th, for things that's been going on with the champs of Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, guys that have only barely got a couple podium finishes this season, with another driver from Italy named Andre Kimi Antonelli, who has now won 5 straight races this year, winning by only a margin of 40 points. It makes us wonder what is going on in the sport as we speak. And with Max Verstappen, who has a fortitude of almost making it to multitude champions, with 71 wins in his career right now and a 10 winning streak, it seems like the odds of his career now coming to an end after changing spots with other teams is now over. Considering he's with Red Bull Racing, we don't know, but it seems like his fame is going down slowly. All we can say is whatever's going to happen in the future, we're just going to have to wait for that update to come when that comes. So with all that being said, we're going to have to wait and see with everything going on here. The world of sports is already taking a downturn. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about another story in the professional boxing world where we are going back in time for another show. And we're going to get to that next time. With that being said, see ya.